Okay, so I saw this tweet and I was gonna make a video on it and I completely forgot. And then I saw Chris Sumlin's video on here, shout out to him, and I was like, oh yeah, I wanted to make a TikTok on that. So let's talk about Mariah Carey's Caution today. And yeah, so this is technically her most recent studio album. I think that this is some of her best work. It's constantly in my rotation. Only 10 songs on here, something that is short and sweet to listen to. And so I just really love it overall. In his video, he was more so talking about his issues with the rollout, and I will speak on that. But first off, I kind of want to talk about why I love this album so much. So one thing that I really appreciate with Mariah is that she really understands how to adapt with the times, and that's why she didn't get relegated with the 90s, because she knew when to move on from adult contemporary and get so into R&B, like more so into it, because yeah, she started off R&B pop, but she got back into it, and you know, they washed her, but that's a completely different conversation. But she always knows when to pivot, right? And so this album was great because it's definitely something that was more current for the time, and so she was able to do that, but it doesn't come out cringy, and she was able to keep what makes her great. And so I think that she's very underrated for that and her versatility as a whole. And so I think that this is a great record for many reasons. I love the songwriting on here. Giving Me Life is my favorite song on here. What she did with Slick Rick and Blood Orange, a top 5 song in her discography, a career highlight. That's an amazing song. So I love the writing on there. And then you also have a song like Portrait, which really reminds me of Looking In from the Daydream album. And yeah, they just kind of seem similar in terms of the lyrics, which is a really great highlight in terms of that. I love 8th Grade. That's definitely a favorite for me on this record, of course. GTFO is a fun song. It was kind of like the fire starter for this record. I know a lot of people don't like it. I appreciate that it doesn't take itself too seriously. It's one of my favorite songs on the record in terms of that. You know, I think that the writing for a song like A No-No is great. You know, we have moments like this on the album, and so I really appreciate that on the whole in terms of it. I think that vocally she sounds great. It's really enjoyable to listen to in that regard, and so I really love what she's doing with the vocals. I love the production. It's something that still sounds great to this day. The album cover, this is one of her best album covers right here. Looks fantastic. I really love the aesthetic for it as well. And so, yeah, like I said, this is some of her best work. And I feel like it was really a return to form after Me, I Am Mariah, which is the album before this. I think that's a great album for the record. A lot of people don't like it. I disagree with that, but I feel like this was a better record on the whole. And so in terms of the rollouts, so basically they kind of had to rehabilitate her image after the New Year's thing and everything. So she had to do a lot of promo for that in terms of that. And I believe she talked about this thing called Instant Grass, which I believe she basically said they released a couple of singles before the album that she didn't want to happen. Because think about it, it's already 10 tracks, so I kind of understand in that regard. I feel like they should have promoted this harder. Like, they really botched it. I feel like part of that is also due to ageism as well, and so this album should have been bigger, but I feel like they just botched it in terms of the rollout. The singles are wrong. Caution, the title track, I forgot to talk about that, should have been the lead single. I really agree with you. Maybe should have been a single later. I feel like it's really different from what you're getting on the album. It doesn't feel really representative as a whole. I don't mind GTFO as a single, I really don't, but I feel like Caution should have been the lead single. Maybe we could have had 8th Grade. We should have had The Distance with Ty Dolla $ign. Forgot to talk about that song. Incredible record on this album. And so, yeah, this is something that I really, really love. Very underrated. If you love Mariah and you want something to listen to, check this out. If you're not into her,